Was it good, boy? He was like, the zoomies, man. Can't drink that. It's cold. That's wheatgrass. Hey, what's going on? Let's give y'all some time. People come in because I know some people are gonna get notified. So I actually let guys in the chat know. I actually went and unsubscribed and subscribed to as many people as I could, and started getting notifications up top. I hadn't made this to eat, but I wanted to get the read out of the way. So my apologies, we were a little late, but I made some forbidden rice, black natto, which is Japanese. Mine comes to New York, but it's Japanese. Black soy, like Korea, well, I say in Korea, with organically grown carrots by my neighbor, and Brussels sprouts with cayenne pepper, Himalayan, black Hawaiian salt, a little bit of iodine, which we got to be careful because there's a lot of iodine and other stuff, and this is what it looks like. And it is so friggin' good. Listen, it is phenomenal. It is delicious, y'all. The cayenne, oh, and a little garlic salt. And this is pretty much my last meal. But I have to drink this because I didn't drink it this morning or afternoon. This is roughly about 10 ounces. 300 milliliters. Anyway, 10 ounces of wheatgrass. It really hits my stomach kind of hard, so I wanted to eat something. So I'm gonna have to drink all this. It's a real bad bitter for me. I've always done them. New York, when I went from 275 to 230 pounds before I left and ended up in Vineland, New Jersey. My Jamaican brother used to give this shot to me every day. Besides going back, I was vegan for about 6 months when I was running all of, literally, from Yonkers, all of East 242nd, White Plains. From East 242nd, Yonkers is right down the road. I ran all of it. And then ran it all the way back. Y'all don't even want to guesstimate how far that is. And I did it like 3 days a week. That's why I was in the marathon running. So I have to drink that here pretty soon. And I'm just got my pillow comfortable. Like I said, when I left the res, I came here, my waistline was 42. Because I have pants upstairs I got to give away. And my waist pants right now is 36. Really, I can get into a 35, maybe a 34. 38, that's like wearing baggy jeans. I mean, around my waistline. Still got my love handles. I'm not trying to get rid of them because I'm blocky. I like the strength that comes from it, especially with my bad back. But it's tightening up a whole lot with the medicine ball routine that I do. And so I'm going to share this with you because you can do many things too. And let me show you so you can see. I know it's hard to see it, but that's forbidden rice. See on the corner there and in the middle, those are black natto. It's fermented soy, which actually, man, it raises your testosterone. Don't go getting X-Works and all that other shit. I take the testosterone because every other day, because I actually feel it. There's a difference. But all the other stuff, don't trust it. And Brussels sprouts raises your testosterone as well. I actually poached mine. You know, in a colander, like Japanese basket. Just like I do my kale and my spinach. I don't eat a lot of spinach though. I get plenty of iron. I'm gonna take a shot of this shit. If I get up and run, that means I'm going to hit the toilet, y'all. I'm talking about get it up. This spirulina, blue spirulina I could tolerate because I add raw honey to that. The actual honey that I use actually has some bee legs and honeycomb. I use the real stuff, y'all. I don't, you know, I don't want nothing else. If it ain't real, not harm to the bees, but sometimes they die. It happens, and it's the real stuff is what I use. I like to eat the hunt wax cone too. It's good for poop. God, wheatgrass, man. They say you can add lemon or something to it. Oh my God. Oh, I'd rather smell dead bodies. No, I don't pinch my nose. It's stupid. Oh my God. God damn. I can eat gefilte fish, y'all. Wheatgrass just messes me up. Once a week, twice a week, maybe. That's what I do. Because I keep it growing. Oh my God. Oh my friggin'. Oh my goodness. I'm talking about, oh my God. Just, oh, myself right now. Okay. Fuck that. Holy shit. I never liked wheatgrass. Fuck that. Excuse my French. I'm sorry for those. Look, man. You want to torture me? Handcuff me and tie me up and force me to drink wheatgrass. I'll probably lose 100 pounds in a matter of 5-6 days throwing up and pooping and peeing. I'm serious. Ugh. I don't even taste the natty, and natty's very chocolatey, like cocoa, and like the white cocoa and the Brussels sprouts. Even the Brussels sprouts without seasoning is harsh. I love chlorophyll. I love green vegetables and all that, but this stuff is not a snap pea or a sweet pea. Don't flip that over. Why do cats do that? He has a cat bowl he doesn't want to drink or eat out of. So I give him, see that red lid? I have a whole bunch of these Pyrex. And this one, ever since he was a kitten, he used to always come over and he always stick his head in my bowl. Like, you get your head up out of here. So I started putting water in. He would drink it from it. He wouldn't drink it. He wouldn't drink water for like 2-3 days. And every time he gets it, it's like he does like me. Like I turn my bottle, OCD, anyway, and I turn my stuff, and he does that. He watches me. He grabs his and pulls it. And then he grabs the paw and pulls it this way, but he's making a mess. And so I say something, then he goes right down and drinks, which he's doing right now. Anyway, I'm going to read this to you right quick, and then we'll get into the other stuff. Now, for God's sake, let us find it. Let us come to a final separation. This is by Thomas Paine, so-called January 1776. Now, the individual they put there is not the actual person. Thomas Paine was a Negro. I don't care how the world feels. All right, this is common sense. I of the origin and design of government in general, with conscious remarks on the English Constitution. Algonquin Constitution. Anyway, some writers have so confounded society with government as to leave little or no distinction between them, whereas they are not only different, but have different origins. Now, society is produced by our wants, and government by our wickedness. Now, the former promotes our happiness positively by uniting our affections, and the latter negatively by restraining our vices. The one encourages social intercourse, and the other creates distinctions. The first is a patron, the last a punisher. Why is it that government is not doing anything that is required of the people? That is the reason why we'll get into our reading, and the very last reading will be William Cooper, and you know where we're at there, right? Still in the UFO business. All right, don't be a stickler. Desire comment on your video. What we do. So we'll be getting in the latter parts the study groups, and this is breaking down the affiliation to what we're dealing with. And then when we get into chapter 13, we'll be dealing with the quintessential hoorah, the treason in high places, the United Nations Treaty and the United Nations Participation Act versus the sovereignty of the people, the citizens of the Republic of America, to which he antiquates United States, which they put in after his ass died. That is not what William Cooper had put in there. So let's go ahead and get this reading going. What's going on, Rondo, Mr. C, Mikey, Fourth World, the C? What's going on, beloved? Wes, what's going on? Orthodox American Arms. Y'all subscribe if you haven't. Don't be playing around. Go over your laptops, whatever, and subscribe to Orthodox American Arms, please. Appreciate it, brothers. I don't say please to nobody. So I know some of you haven't, but I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and we're going to start it off. We're going to kick it off with Terra Infinita, extraterrestrial worlds, and their civilizations. Excuse me. That stuff is good. That damn, I will never stop drinking chlorophyll. I've got to drink all that. I've got about a half hour to drink it in that container because it's green. There's no light hitting it and obstructing it. Okay, but damn. So we're at chapter 9, the lands of Uranus. So for you Sweetums that come over and watch, don't get all tickled because we are nowhere near the taint, nor the anus, or any of that shit. So I gotta drink that. Mouth just watered. I got a strong, guys. This is I gotta drink it though. I feel like Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. You know, he's got no palladium poisoning and shit. Grass. If it was up to me, I'd burn all the grass on earth. But these bodies need it, y'all. Remember I said that. Fucking horrendous. Okay, excuse me. Hey, God damn. Who's doing this review message stuff? Oh, okay, it was nothing. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it in. Chapter 9, the lands of Uranus. The lands of Uranus, and as you can see, Uranus and Titania. No. Yeah, you can't make this up. And I even hit him up in his messages on Messenger. On Instagram, I hit him up and says, "Your dog." When I was looking at the map and I came across it, it says, "Your car." Is that a little side humor? So, in a sense, it is, guys. But check it out. Uranus, Titania. All right, let's go ahead. Oh, you ought to see the ones around it. No, it's not that they're so funny. They've been passed off in the world that we live in, okay? In the realm that they think they control. Oh, you got to see the map. I should have brought it back down here and showed y'all. The Uranians, or Uranites, are of pinkish skin. The tonality of their eyes are completely dark, although there are exceptions of completely white eyes that give the appearance of having visual difficulty. But the reality is that their sight is hyper developed. See, you would think cataract white eyes is bad, right? That is mineral and vitamin deficiency. Are y'all aware of that? and certain things in the receptors of the head, the brain, and everything else that are not firing off correctly. But the doctors will want to go cut and give you deadly doses of chemicals and radiation that will create phonetically a grapevine of more problems. Y'all should know that by now. You know what I mean? Hey, Snoo, what's up, love? Hey, baby girl. All right. Being able to see the great distances and taking advantage of this as a great opportunity to be able to explore other lands. Now, they have not achieved great technological development, nor are they advanced spiritual beings. Excuse me. Oh, God, it tastes like the bottom shovel up a bunch of dirt and grass. They have long winters, and for this reason, there are temperatures that become very low during almost the whole year. You know, in Antarctica, they have this thing like we did a blue nose on a ship when we run around the Horn, and when we go to the southern or northernmost part, which they make us believe, when we run around the deck with boots on in sub-zero weather, like negative, like negative 37, 47 would be like a negative 100 degrees. But we run around in stuff like negative like 20, and yeah, we're talking about out at the ocean. There's no land and it's dark, and but just our drawers, our skivvies on, and we run around the flight deck, and then we come inside and we sit on a bucket with a block of ice that is about where you could sit on like a chair, and you sit on it, and you have to sit on it for a number of minutes. So you're cold from going outside. You come inside, everybody's all diesel. We've been working out at sea. Nobody's walking around with a big belly except for the lazy chiefs or whatever. And we sit on these blocks of ice. There's about 7 of them in these buckets. And they literally count. They have what's called the bookend or whatever. That the doorstop, the smallest guy, counting 1, 2, 3, 60, 1 minute, 1, 2, 3. Whoever stays the longest, like we all get our blue nose because you put zinc bromide, little crown, the nautical, I can show you the paperwork some other day. But in Antarctica, 100 and below, it's illegal, but they do that as well. 100 degrees below zero. When they gotta have the boots, because your feet will freeze up like that quick. The blood will stop flowing, and you will have frostbite unless you're Wim Hof. I just thought I would share that. Excuse me. Now, today their lifespan has been shortened because they began to suffer from strange diseases due to the alteration and manipulation of their bodies in laboratories. Now, the custodians penetrated their world when the Uranites were at an early age of their development. At first, the custodians had not been interested in them nor in the minerals of their world. But then everything changed when they discovered large quantities of an important mineral under their hands. You would think they're just going to get the minerals, but they got to mess with this. Is as far as the readings, these people, these things are stupid as fuck. They're not really that advanced. Now, there are large excavations and craters on their surface, and their lands look as if they were torn by titanic hands. And the reality is that this was caused by custodial machinery in the process of excavation. And the locals worked there under great pressure and almost enslaved by the parasitic colonizers, the Ashkenaz, and their little minions of half-breed offspring. So now you're starting to infer some knowledge, right? You're starting to have a real good clue as to the things we've been reading when you think about Anon, Enki, and all these other individuals, the manipulation of genes. You're seeing that right now, aren't you? What are you paying attention to? Are you out there paying attention to these so-called black scholars and Aboriginal communities to which they know nothing what they speak? I'm going to show you a picture here too. Not this, something else, and I'm going to ask you a very serious question. I want you to ponder it. I'm not going to give you an answer. Anyway, the little development thereafter is strictly due to this reason. The custodians do not want under any circumstance that these beings get to develop even moderately. The Uranites today are grouped only in the mainlands and their core, called Titania. They are generally giant beings that can reach 4 to 5 meters in height. They're fucking big. And they have 2 very long arms and feed exclusively on vegetables that grow in these lands or around them. Now, the other lands that surround the great walls of this enormous world are of similar climate to those of the lands of Neptune. Next, we get into the lands of Jupiter. It's pretty interesting. Let me pull up this picture, but I want to read George Jones first. I hope you like the common sense. It's pretty cool, right? And fear is one thing to have you look at something in a question the reality. But most people, because they don't teach it in schools, so nobody will sit there and question anything and make it relevant to the time we're in. That's why I say infiltration in neither party or who you think they are. And I'm telling you, you sap suckers are going to have to fight. As sad as that sounds. And not each other. That's just the stupidest. Y'all are so weak. Yeah. I mean, very, very, very. What good is it to talk indigenous and aboriginal and blah, 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 the world, love, blah, woman, this, that, man, blah, blah, blah. And you're all a bunch of weaklings. You can't even protect what you talk about. You won't come together. You won't tribe up. Yo, T. Hines, what's going on? Nafki, what's happening? What's happening? Sidanelv, that's right. What's going on, beloved? But anyway, I'm just, doing my little routine, my usual. Don't worry, we're going to clear all this, and I want to make a little over an hour or so. And it's going to go quick, especially with what I'm reading today. It's going to be very touching. Okay, let's go and tap in there. My beard is coming in crazy. Okay. And when I show you, I really want you to think. And I want you to have clarity. Now, we know that there's a bunch of peckerwoods running around in our clothes as if it belonged to them. But I want you to see beyond the ideology as if the old was messed up and this new is relevant. When, ergo, the reality is, I want you to give it real good thought, because the consensus is something else. I want to show you this first. And nobody else is going to. You know what? I actually have it in my images. Hold on. I want you to think, not too hard, but I want you to know the difference, because so many people have been lied to. And I want this to be a bigger image. More than anything. And we always relegate ourselves to a false reality when the truth is the lie, and the lie is the truth. And like I said, I came to shake more than the trees. I came to destroy the narrative of their fake world. Nothing to destroy it easily I shall. Oh, you're gonna like this. It's gonna be something to think about. See, they have the chance to go back and clean everything up, and they're not. Why? Because they are so far gone. I want you to see this clothing. And I wanted to picture your face on it instead of theirs. I want you to see this clothing. And I want you to pay attention to the last one. Do you think that how we dress now remove the fact that you've been conditioned and nurtured into believing it, whether it be from the 60s, 70s, 80s, broken, our land perverted, ragtags, to where we think we're Gucci and all this other crap. And they show you how they feel about that, because people walking around dressed up with tissue paper and black tape and boxes. Anywho, do you think that is ugly? And first of all, those are naval personnel, Marines. Do you think that is ugly? I believe that is phonetic to the ether, balanced. Liberty, from liberty to slave. The past, I would actually rather be dressing that way, and not in a bold with a 10-foot high ceiling. I'd rather it be a 27 and 13. Open stairs to open spaces and rooms with shapes and divinity. Let me see if I can pull this up. I want you to think about that, if you don't mind. Hold on, I want you to see this. And you know, the Peckerwoods got to make themselves look dandy of something better, to which they are not. They're far from. Because remember, who showed them how to dress? And you think that all of a sudden they just came up with all this clothing wear? This is the fall. And then look at this. Now, they would have you believe, based on Hollywood narratives, that these clothings were cumbersome of some sort. Well, how is cotton and wool cumbersome? First of all, it doesn't lower your energy. It doesn't rob or take from you. It's not synthetic with chemicals that are toxic and poisonous to the pores of your skin, the capillaries. That's like everybody, right? When you do laundry and you open that little foul detergent bottle, right? And you get that big old lid. Do you believe you're supposed to fill that to that line? I will tell you, use a quarter and even less detergent in a full load. Because what you want is, you want it to irrigate. You want it to agitate. And so you want very little soap to get through those fibers and do what it needs to do to grab all that dirt, supposedly. Yet the water has got more enough chemicals to do the job itself. Because the big cat will only make you use the stuff up a lot faster, so they'll go and have to purchase more. But just to speak it is small. Okay, let's get into reading. Here we go with George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America. Excuse me, I thought I shared the other one that we read, the first one. Okay? And you know it's by Claudia Nocelli. And this is the same one right here. Okay? And the other one upstairs, you don't need to see that one. It's a hard one. Here we go. Now we will advance another reason for believing that Copan was the first city built in Mexican America. The square column or obelisk only is found there. Did you hear that? The square column, Washington, capital, whatever, or obelisk only is found there, while in other ruins, excepting Palenque, the circular is perceptible. Now, the latter are found at Mitla and Oxmal, thus establishing the round ones almost conclusively that those cities were of latter erection, and for the square column is easier in formation than the circular. Now, the latter is produced from the former, and consequently, how would they know? But anyway, the columns are made in producing the circular shaft. Now, the square is also better adapted from its facial character for the purposes of sculpture, as it makes you think of our totem poles. Anyway, as illustrated in the idol obelisk at Copan. Idol obelisk, that means, as I stated, it's good stuff. And that which would be the simplest in construction and giving the greatest facility for its peculiar adaptation would naturally be selected by people for the first temple, yet reserving to themselves the practice at a future day, the knowledge possessed in the more refined branches of the art. Now, they subsequently illustrated that superior knowledge at Palenque and Uxmal. And in the conclusion of this section, however, it will be shown that the square style of architecture was essentially Tyrian, and that it is distinctly visible at Copan and Palenque. Doesn't it keep circling back to Atlantis? An analogy in regard to antiquity is found from the stuccoing or plastering of the walls, and this custom in art is one of the most ancient on record. Now, Mr. Steffens would infer from the fact of stuccoing that they had a modern origin and actually calls it in one place. Now, plaster of Paris. Did you hear that? Mr. Steffens would infer from the fact of stuccoing that they had a modern origin and actually calls it in one place, plaster of Paris. So you see, that is not what it's called. And that is by somebody who was part of the destruction of the narrative, our origin and history. The custom is mentioned by the first lawgiver, 1451, years before the Christian era. 1,450, okay, not the year 14, 1,451 years before the Christian era. And it shall be on the day when ye shall pass over Jordan unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, that thou shalt set thee up great stones, and plaster them with plaster, and thou shalt write upon them all the words of this law. When you know that's Deuteronomy, I'm not going to get into all that. Now, here is not only the proof of the ancient custom of stuccoing, so you know that's based on the Torah, right? Anyway, or hard plastering, but also the fact of sculpture or writing upon stucco. Of course, in its damp state, and when dry, it became, as at Palenque, as hard as stone. Again, it also covered the interior of the palatial walls of Babylon, and was the surface upon which was traced the handwriting at Belshazzar's feast, and this was 538 BC. Belshazzar is another name for Hashatan, Nimrod, Baal. It's, you get where I'm coming from. I don't want to get into that. Such a disrespect. Like I said, they can correct it. They can have the little fake archaeologists go out there. We made an remarkable discovery. And correct it. But they're too stupid to do that, like I said. So it's good shit to me. Okay, what do I do? Pull some out of that one too. Oh, yes, the gods of Eden. Relax, Papa. Like you got britches on. The gods of Eden, William Brownlee. Snoo. Appreciate that so much. Okay. Let's get right into it. We're at 14, just remind you. Now, expressing theories of extraterrestrial visitation of ancient astronauts. Do y'all know what the word astronaut actually means? Do some homework. It's dangerous to society. Again, of ancient astronauts is dangerous to society. that there's been enough tastes like the damn grass. Anyway, there's been about 3 or 4 astronauts, 2 of them unalive, who have stated that the aliens is no more than us in aircraft made by us. You better listen to them as far as what they're perceiving right now. Anyway, this argument is not worth dignifying in societies with traditions of open discussion and debate. Now, freedom of expression is one of the bedrocks of a healthy culture. It allows that society and its people to grow. A wide diversity of ideas gives people more perspective to choose from, mind you, and possessing such a choice is preferable to having intellectual options restricted. Don't you see that today with this fake government and these fake ass corporations with their little puppet fake monkeys? In an open society, many unconventional ideas come and go, but that is a small price to pay for the enormous benefits of leaving communication lines open and free. Every time I hear people say, I gotta make another $1. I'm like, you good fucking slave. Stay right there. Number 15, if there are so many UFOs, why have I never seen one? I have never seen a UFO either. I have also never seen, that's a statement, I've never seen India, but the circumstantial evidence of its existence tends to make me think that India probably exists. Now, in addition to the above arguments, other means, because that's just narcissistic mannerism to even confer something outwardly based on a narrative that people have been conditioned to accept, compared to a landmass that is within records and books, and we know that it's Hindustan or Upper Ethiopia, or there's a couple of other terms. Okay? There's a difference. In addition to the above arguments, other means have been used to discredit UFO sightings, which that's the First Amendment. So what? But here we go. One method utilizes semantics. Some UFO critics say that they seek to find rational explanations for UFO sightings. And by rationale, they mean explanations that portray wow, a sighting as a natural or man-made object. Well, a UFO could be. It's called unidentified object. And so this person's a little psychotic. And this is an unfortunate use of the word rationale. No, it's not. It's perfect. The word rationale means sane. Exactly. You don't have to be insane because you disagree. That's why I beat up on books, because you must know how you read and what you read. Well thought out or logical. Okay, so it's sane, well thought out, or logical. Because sanity and logic must ultimately be based upon truth, a rational explanation or a phenomenon would be that explanation which most closely approximates the truth. So it can be close to the truth and not of the truth, as far as an explanation based on a phenomenon. That's like saying the theory that's steeped in this conspiracy relegates this theory to reality, yet nobody has an actual basis of facts. So therefore, conspiracy theory is nothing wrong with it. The problem is it's been utilized as a weapon to create division, as ergo this individual who's not paying attention to what they wrote up in the first 4 lines of this chapter. Anyway, let's go on. Whatever the truth may be, if a reported UFO is a misperceived natural phenomenon, then to explain it as such would indeed be rational. So I run out into the mountains. I come back and say, I was abducted. We're going to do a lie detector test. I know how to beat it 5 different ways. Okay. Now there's books. I'm getting millions press. They want to make a movie. Unless I do something and slip up. You get where I'm coming from? I'm just saying, just to play the bad cop. On the other hand, if a UFO is not a natural or man-made phenomenon, then to say that it is in the face of contrary evidence would not be rational at all, but you would first have to be able to prove it. Doesn't that, in lieu, go back to the phenomenon of an explanation that most closely approximates itself with it? Right? Now, how about when it cries about critics say that they seek to find rational explanations? So again, phenomenon. Contrary evidence would not be rational at all. Do you get where I'm coming from, people? Am I dismissing outerworldly things? I am dismissing things that nobody knows about. And the fact that right now it's a weapon. Does it mean that it does not exist? Hell no. I can guarantee you the shits exists based upon H.G. Wells and all these other idiots. That's the narrative they had to paint for you because they needed to condition you to believe and look for these things. So when you see them, the perception of, Tom Cruise, War of the Worlds, World War Z, zombies, you just go over to Philly to see that, and Skid Row over here. They are making everything, and you are seeing it all, and yet you don't understand the irrationale to the rationale of what they're doing. They're making it phonetically possible for you to bypass the First Amendment and be conclusive based on their narrative, painted 40, 60, 80 years pre-you. Having said all of this, I still understand the reluctance of many people to take the UFO phenomenon seriously. It is a difficult booby trap subject, and there it is. Some individuals who were once open-minded about UFOs have had the unfortunate experience of getting egg in their faces. And when they over-speculated about UFOs and were proven wrong, a good example was the public debacle surrounding the Martian moon photos. About a decade ago, a number of scientific opinion leaders had speculated that photos was an artificial satellite placed in orbit around Mars by extraterrestrials. Those photos were over here in Arizona, right? Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. You can pull it up on Google. Anyway, when a space probe later flew close enough to photograph photos, the Martian moon was shown to be little more than a large irregular piece of rock. Although some of its orbital characteristics remain puzzling, scientists and astronauts, because they survive on their good reputations, cannot endure too many speculative blunders of that kind. And ergo, NASA and Disney and all them places are working together. Many people who suffer such a tumble do not get back on the horse. Instead, they curse and attack the beast which threw them. Now, competent researchers today are aware of these perils, and they try to avoid speculating too far from the known facts. When I was telling people that, they were like, James, you crazy. I said, man, let me tell you something. You guys are going to see it, and then you're going to look retarded. Sure enough, 10 years later, 10 years ago, maybe 12, somebody was out there in the desert looking for this particular place. And after about a week of camping, a week and a half, whatever, found the exact spot, damn near looking pretty much the same to when they said, this is the Martian lunar surface, right out there in Rock, Arizona, the same goddamn place. And yet, still people want to talk about the earth is round, and those are planets and stars, and they're so retarded. I'm not saying we're hate or spite. I'm just saying it is what it is. The reptilians in the history of humankind and Anunnaki. Am I saying that things don't exist? Hell no. There's a lot of things a lot of people don't know about that exist, y'all. Oh boy, a whole lot. Now, this is a pretty good book too. Reptilians in the History of Humankind and Anunnaki by Henry Crane, in case you want to purchase it. Now, the expulsion of the Anunnaki from Earth. Despite being Sumerians, the first civilization in human history, approximately 5,000 years ago, and despite their great evolutionary leap, these were still dominated by the Anunnaki through their vassal hybrids. These hybrids were on the cusp of a social system with the supreme rulers and considered demigods for having Anunnaki blood. Don't they run around saying that's anyway? They were also afraid of them since they considered them people with superhuman and immortal powers. Now, religion helped a lot to have the Sumerians under control, as it inculcated them a fear rooted in all their gods, and therefore they should give them sacrifices at certain times. Anu ordered to write, Windows crack. Anu ordered to write Anunnaki history, smoke, and how we had been created to root more religion among the Sumerians, to make them the Anunnaki and be supreme gods, and so their story would be preserved for posterity. So they began to write the Sumerian clay tablets. That's right there. And many of the texts were narrated to human scribes by Anu himself, and many other texts were narrated by various Anunnaki gods of Inanna, Enlil, and remember I hated this word, Ninhursag, etc., and so on. It is worth mentioning that most of the stories written in the Sumerian tablets were deliberately exaggerated by these gods to denote their power. And the Sumerians used highly advanced technology inherited by the gods, with which could create great temples and buildings as the ziggurat. However, they did not understand how the technology worked. That is, they knew how to use it, but they did not understand its functionings. So they had no way of reverse engineering, and it was not what they sought. Like all the Pekawis that came here to reverse engineer all the weapons of old. Are you all aware that Russia ignited the biggest bomb ever? I think it was 500 kilotons compared to the 1,000 they wanted to drop. We're talking about something 1,150 times bigger, stronger than Hiroshima and Nagasaki put together. But are you aware of where they dropped it at? Google it and tell me what you think. For those who think Russia didn't play a part in the destruction of ancient history. Anyway, so together Enki and the Carians began to teach the Sumerians science as advanced mathematics, physics, chemistry, etc. They started to teach them the basics so they could understand how these extraterrestrial technologies worked. Now, the Palladians reported Arcturian leaders about the behavior the emissaries were having on Earth, and therefore they ordered them to immediately leave the Earth and leave humans alone. And they did so, but not before inheriting their knowledge, customs, language, and beliefs to the humans, Lulus, who were in Nubia. Now, little Ethiopia, but it was a different name back then. Have y'all figured out the names probably? The possible names? Anyway, little had changed, because you got to remember, all that Italy and all that up there, that's all part of so-called Africa. Okay. Little had changed things with the resolution of the Kaditsu. It is true that the humans were now living in a social system and had some more advanced knowledge. However, they continued to be dominated and manipulated by the Anunnaki. Puzzle pieces. There's only a few there, even though it sounds really good. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and put that in there. So that way I can just go right to it. Which should be so much better. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, we use that instead of that over there. We can put it right back. That's good. Mr. William Cooper. Excuse me 1 second, guys. I have to take a bite of this. That stuff still, I taste it in my mouth, y'all. My apologies, guys. It tastes like crap. I'm surprised I held it down. Forbidden rice, black fermented soy, Brussels sprouts, carrots, cayenne, black Hawaiian, a little bit of Himalayan or Pakistani salt. Oh, this is perfect. I was gonna put some quinoa, but I don't need all that. Oh my God. I cleaned it right up. And some cloves, a little bit of powdered cloves. It's good for you. You're good. A lot of Chinese. Wow. Okay. A lot of them. Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper. Mr. William Cooper himself. Where is this business? Damn, they put your... damn, why they even put yours in review? They bugging out on this channel, ain't they? Wow. I feel so appreciative. Thank you, YouTube staff, algorithm, whatever you want to be recognized as, which don't mean shit to me. Behold a Pale Horse. Have you at night talking about what's that sound you hear? Bravo, Cochleon. Oh, you didn't know. Okay. A multi-million-dollar secret fund was organized and kept by the military office of the White House. Well, this fund was used to build over 75 deep underground facilities. Listen again. A multi-million-dollar secret fund was organized and kept by military office of the White House. This fund was used to build over 75 deep underground facilities. Now, presidents who asked were told the fund was used to build deep underground shelters for the president in case of war. Only a few were built for the president. Millions of dollars were funneled through this office to Majesty 12, and then out to the contractors. It was used to build top secret alien bases as well as top secret dumb, which is deep underground military bases. Or you can say like in Newark, New Jersey and New York, CHUD, cannibalistic human underground dweller. Okay. And the facilities promulgated by alternative throughout the nation. Now, President Johnson used this fund to build a movie theater and pave the road on his ranch. He had no idea of its true purpose. Now, the secret White House Underground Construction Fund was set up in 1957 by President Dwight E. Eisenhower. And the funding was obtained from Congress under the guise of construction and maintenance of secret sites where the president could be taken in case of military attack. Now, presidential emergency sites, as it was called. The sites are literally holes in the ground deep enough to withstand a nuclear blast, and they are outfitted with state-of-the-art communications equipment. And to date, there are more than 75 sites spread around the country that were built using money from this fund. The Atomic Energy Commission has built at least an additional 22 underground sites. Now, see the chapter on Mount Weather. The location and everything to do with these sites were and are considered and treated as top secret. Now, the money was and is in control of the military office of the White House and was and is laundered through through so courteous, it's a weird word, so courteous, a web that even the most knowledgeable spy or accountant cannot follow it. As of 1980, only a few at the beginning and end of this web knew what the money was for. And at the beginning were Representative George Mahon of Texas and the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee and of its Defense Subcommittee, and Representative Robert Sykes of Florida, chairman of the House Appropriations Military Construction Subcommittee, And today, it is rumored that House Speaker Jim Wright controlled the money in Congress and that a power struggle removed him. And at the end of the line were the president, Majesty 12, the director, the military office, and a commander at the Washington Navy Yard. Now, the money was authorized by the Appropriations Committee, who allocated it to the Department of Defense as a top secret item in the Army construction program. The Army, however, could not spend it, and in fact, did not even know what it was for. Authorization to spend the money was in reality given to the Navy. Anyway, the money was channeled to the Chesapeake Division of the Navy Engineers, who did not know what it was for either. Not even the commanding officer, who was an admiral, knew what the fund was to be used for. Only one man, a Navy commander who was assigned to the Chesapeake Division, but in reality was responsible only to the military office of the White House, knew of the actual purpose, amount, and ultimate destination of the top secret money. Now, the total secrecy surrounding the fund meant that almost every trace of it could be made to disappear by the very few people who controlled it. There has never been, and most likely never will be, an audit of this secret money. Just want to give you that little tidbit. Why? Right now, you have a lot of soldiers who came aboard here with crew cuts and everything, in decent shape, and they're nowhere in these liberal cities. But the throw-off is the migrants who never really got to enjoy a good life in the last 20 to 40 years because of the drug game and the murderous hands that are parlaying over there. And so what do? They bring them here to be around idiots instead of the best of who we were. When I told some Mexicans that LA was found by a melanated man of South America, they laughed and thought I was joking. And so two of them actually did the research and came back, "Oh, Efe, apologize, amigo." I was like, yeah. And you see what happened to them. Everybody knows everything until they don't know nothing. And when they realize they don't know nothing, you would think they would attempt to find out and learn something, right? Now, why do I say that? Because the people are only returning back to the land they once knew. That's how they were like. And as I've been all around so-called South America, and I know that the majority of you from there know exactly who we are. Except for the ones born here. Sadly, they're lackeys. No hate. It doesn't submit them to a dismissal of history. It just says they're ignorant to the truth. Well, I had y'all here long enough. You know I'm not too long with it on these damn subjects and topics. I want to read and get over it and go. I'll finish eating. And I don't find it disrespectful eating your damn faces if we were together and eating together. What the fuck, you know? Caramillo, what's going on? Pedro Vito, what's going on, amigo? Herbo, Chata Haya, what's up, beloved? Appreciate y'all coming in. I hope the reading was good. I hope that you enjoyed it. The reason why I do this is because it's good to know who you are, but you got to do that work. But right now, in this time and age, because of my military background and where I've been, I always knew we come to this point where they would start. Besides the chemical afflictions, religion uses a weapon. Instead of you acclimating to study for better self-evidence, most people won't. I knew that something with some UFOs, I knew something with some aliens, all this stuff would happen. But I didn't know how to be able to deliver it. And so all my life of reading, and I have H.G. Wells, I have his whole Witch Call biography and a number of other individuals that played a part in that. It was the conditioning to get you set up for this moment. And as a person that worked with nukes and all that, when I tell you that they had stuff 100 years ahead of what we were working with, And you would think because we're working with the most so-called top-of-the-line stuff, we already knew they had stuff beyond it. Because we studied the history. We knew things that most people back here didn't know. I got to go on the ground in Nevada. I got to see screens in the 80s that were as big as one building of this complex. And I could see every aircraft flying around, and they had them all around the place like it looked like something out of Star Wars or Enterprise or some shit. Wearing orange jumpsuits, flight suits, with high-tech boots to hold swim. Y'all better come together. If you don't have a weapon, you better learn how to make it. A lot of you have not ascended. You refuse to. Anyway, I appreciate y'all coming in here. I love y'all. Much respect, always. Think about the clothing, the reversal, your perception, the conditioning, where we're at, and how did we get there? Appreciate y'all. And because there's so many people all of a sudden for the last 2-3 years talking about Tartary, I no longer have to talk about it, even though I've got a ton of books. But when we get into the Merkle, I will go back to talking about Tartary because I know much more than most people. I used to get whooped for talking about it. Who is reviewing? Okay? Again, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. My beloved sisters. Those in here, my brothers, 2 and 1. I might see you later on, or I'll be in the AM. Thank you.